The second day of the 2026 World Cup is finally over, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this competition has not disappointed so far. We saw Canada against Bosnia and also USA against Paraguay, so now we have seen all three of the host nations play their opening matches, and to be honest, all four matches that we've seen so far have been brilliant. Obviously guys, this is continuing the series that we will be uploading videos every single day, daily recaps of all the games that took place during that day. And today was day 2, where like I said, Bosnia against Canada and USA against Paraguay, and we have so much to talk about. Obviously, if you saw in the intro, I was at the Toronto fan zone once again for the Canada versus Bosnia game, and when Canada scored, oh my gosh, it was crazy. The scenes was crazy. Everyone was throwing their beers. I got soaked, I got wet, beer dripping down my back, but it was insane. And today we're going to be talking about both of the two games that took place today. Starting off with the first match, we had Canada against Bosnia, and obviously like I mentioned, I was downtown Toronto for this game. I was at the Toronto fan zone and it was complete vibes. It was incredible. A video will be coming out very soon for you guys, but this game was very interesting because obviously Bosnia and Herzegovina, coming off of that win against Italy, a lot of people didn't really think they were going to perform that good in this group. Majority of people think that Canada were going to get the better of Bosnia in this game. Me personally, I predicted a 1-1 draw. Yes, I thought Canada would score, but I also couldn't see a world where Canada kept a clean sheet in this game because Bosnia's attackers, high quality attackers with players like Demirovic, with players like Dzeko, and obviously some of the other players like Alabegovic, like Bajraktarovic. I can't really pronounce their names, but Dzeko actually wasn't playing in this game. They opted for Lukic instead, and he was the one who opened the scoring in the 21st minute. It was a corner for Bosnia, cross into the box. First, Kolasinac got the header onto Lukic's head and he puts it in the back of the net. Now, honestly, Canada, they've never been the best at defending set pieces, but for Bosnia to get two headers off Kolasinac to Lukic and Lukic in the back of the net, it was poor from Canada. It was poor from Canada. And if you look at this first half, honestly, it was a fairly dominant performance by Canada. They had majority of the possession. Bosnia had a couple shots, but they didn't really do that much in the attack. For majority of the time, they had the ball with the defenders and they were mostly trying to go long to the attackers. They weren't really trying to build up play, trying to hold possession. That was majority done by Canada. And Canada, they had a few shots, but at the end of the day, they just weren't really clinical in this first half. They had a few good chances, but they couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. And going into halftime, honestly, I think Canada were the better team. They had most of the momentum, especially for that last 10 minutes. They probably really should have got a goal. But going into the halftime, they had all to play for in the second half. But in the second half, once again, Canada did come out on top. For the first 5 or 6 minutes, they were really close. We saw them pretty much score a goal. It was pretty much in the net, on the line. Kolasinac kicked the ball up in the air, hit the crossbar, and went out. Bro, I was like, what are you talking about? What kind of clearance is that? I've never seen a goal line clearance like that in my life. Incredible clearance by Kolasinac, but at the end of the day, Kyle Larin, he didn't start this game. We started with Tanya Luasei and Jonathan David, of course. Both played okay, both had a couple half chances, but nothing major. And then Kyle Larin came on in the 76th minute and he scored in the 78th minute. And what an incredible goal that was. A fantastic run through the midfield by Kone, who FootMob gave him a 6.0 rating. I thought for that goal, he was absolutely brilliant. Passed it off to Promise David. Promise David backheels it to Kyle Larin, gets it off the ground, turns the Bosnian defender in Muharremovich, who's a great defender, and volleys it right into the side netting. Fantastic goal. Scenes are crazy. Everyone goes wild, and Canada get a draw from this game. It ends 1-1, and this is the first time in Canada's history that they have gotten a point at the World Cup. Any previous time they've been at the World Cup, 0 points, lost every game. But this World Cup, in the first game, Canada break history by getting a point. Now, at the end of the day, I do think Canada were the better team. I think Canada had more possession. I think Canada had more shots. And Bosnia, I just didn't really feel like they were able to hold possession. But a criticism that you can't say with Canada is that in the attack, they were very lackluster. They didn't create the best chances, and the chances that they did have, they didn't put away. That's partly due to Bosnia's great defending and multiple clearances off the line, but also Canada should have done better in that respect. But at the end of the day, both teams do share a point, and both teams now have 1 point on the board. But moving on to the next game, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This was a demolition job by the US. What's going on? What's going on? Now, a lot of people have been clowning the US. I have to admit, I've been taking part of this. Why? Because at the end of the day, when you're calling Pulisic the LeBron James of soccer, people are going to make fun of you. The only reason why people make fun of USA is because of some of the commentators and some of the pundits that pretty much make it so easy to make fun of them. But at the end of the day, we cannot disrespect this American team because they are good. They are good. And contrary to some of their previous results, obviously, if you look at their previous results, we saw them get that 2-1 loss against Germany. We saw them lose 5-2 against Belgium, 2-0 against Portugal. But in those games and in the games that they've won, whether it was 5-1 against Uruguay, whether it was against Senegal, whether it's in this game against Paraguay, they've been fantastic. And with USA, we've always known that they've had the physicality, they've had the physical strength over majority of teams in the world, whether it's the pace of the players, whether it's the physical nature of the players. You know, USA have a humongous population, so they do have a lot of players to choose from, and their physicality has always been good. But I feel like in recent games, they've shown that they have the passing. They've shown that they have the skill set and the dribbling. They've shown that they have the shooting. And this game was a combination of everything. Now, I want to give, first of all, a shout out to Mauricio Pochettino, because I think, first of all, the lineup he chose in the game, and second of all, how he instructed his players to press Paraguay, it really caused Paraguay a lot of defensive mistakes in the midfield, mistakes in the defense, and that's why USA got off to an amazing start in the 7th minute, right? And that goal was absolutely fantastic. We saw McKinney dribble by about 3 players in the midfield, fantastic. Lays it off to Pulisic on the left side. He dribbles to another 2 or 3 players, pass it into the middle, back to McKinney. Probably would have scored, but it was, in the end, turned to an own goal by Bobadilla. Now, after that, honestly, Paraguay looked shocked. They looked defeated after that own goal. And it almost looks like they gave up, because for the next probably 45 minutes, it was almost all USA. As you can see in the first half, they had 72% possession, 7 total shots, 4 on target, and they ended up scoring 2 more goals in the first half. 2 goals by, for me, the man of the match, and that is Florent Balogun. Honestly, he was fantastic. And with Monaco, he's had a great season. He's been very good. And I feel like a lot of South American teams may not know how to handle such a physical presence like Balogun, a player that's so physical, a player that has such immense shooting ability. You know, we see a lot of players like this in Europe, but not as much in South America. And I do feel like Paraguay did not deal with him at all, because he got the next 2 goals in the 31st minute and the 45th minute right before the halftime. Now, I will say both of those goals were very, very well taken by Balogun. If we look at the stats, the first goal was this one, slotted into the bottom corner, and the next goal was this one right to the top bins. He was on a breakaway, just cut inside, got past the defender, just slotted it in the top corner right past the goalkeeper. An amazing, amazing finish. But even if we look at the momentum stats, guys, look at this. Look at this. It's domination. This was domination from the US. And the thing is, in the second half, okay, fine. Paraguay, to be fair, for the first 10 minutes, they did look like they were getting back into the game, right? And we saw a couple substitutions early on in the second half for Paraguay. Looks like it helped them a little bit. They came into the second half a little bit more confidently. But at the end of the day, the US were incredible. The US were absolutely incredible. When I saw this starting lineup, I saw in CISO, I'm like, you know what? Paraguay might be able to do something. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now, to be fair, in the 73rd minute, they did get a goal from Mauricio, a very well taken goal. Obviously, he did come off the bench, and he ended up scoring the goal, which is very, very impressive. But then in the last minute, we saw Gio Reyna, who had a few shots since he came on. He came on in, what minute did he come on? He came on in the 82nd minute, and he had a few shots, probably could have scored, but at the end of the day, he scores in the 98th minute. And it does, oh, here it is. And it was a great goal. Great finish, side netting, goalkeeper had no chance. At the end of the day, the US in this game were so dominant. So dominant. 16 total shots. They had almost 70% possession. Like, they were incredible. This was a very, very good game for USA, for Mauricio Pochettino, and especially for the fans, guys. We know football in the US, I mean, it is definitely growing. It's going up and up, but it's still not their most popular sport. It's not their second most popular sport. Everyone likes American football. Everyone likes basketball. Everyone likes baseball. But to start the World Cup with a 4-1 win, that first half performance, it got all the fans on their feet. And the fans, if they weren't fully supporting the US before, they are 100% supporting them now. And the people that were saying before that the US could make it to maybe the quarterfinals, maybe even the semifinals, now will be saying they can make it to the finals. And you know what? With a performance like this, guys, this was a world-class performance. This was definitely the best performance we've seen at the World Cup. And this may be the best performance that we do see in the first match day, because I don't think any one of these players put a foot wrong. None of them. Pulisic, Tillman, Balogun, McKennie, even Serginho Dest. Robinson was incredible. Even Tim Ream and Chris Richards. Richards coming off the injury. Ream, who's how old? 38. Even they were good. I will say for Paraguay's goal, they maybe could have done better. Tim Ream looked like he went for a little bit of a lazy challenge. But everyone on the US, Freeman, who I've barely ever even heard of this guy, young 21-year-old, incredible. Everyone was great for the US. And when the American players perform, they perform good, because this team, it does have a lot of individual talent. You look at players like Pulisic, Tillman, Balogun, McKennie. I already went over them. And on the bench, I think they do have some problems in certain areas, especially defensively. But the way these players play today, guys, if USA play this way against the Argentina, I think it would be a very close game. And as a Canadian myself, these are not words that I particularly want to say. You know, Canadians aren't always the biggest fan of Americans. In this World Cup, I hope everyone has a great tournament. But if the US play the way they played today, they can make it much further than I expect. And I'm scared, bro. I'm absolutely terrified. That is the second day recap. Tomorrow we are doing a stream. We'll be live for Qatar versus Switzerland and Morocco against Brazil. And guys, we are going to be doing predictions. We're going to be doing watch-alongs. And a cool idea I came up with is I'm going to be trying to predict every single game that we do watch-along for. And if my prediction is wrong, we will have to do a forfeit. Now, this forfeit could be a hot chip challenge, a hot gummy bear challenge. It could be a workout forfeit, you know, doing hundreds of push-ups. It could be a forfeit with Chad. It could be a bunch of different forfeits. But that is what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm also going to be uploading the video from the fan zone. As you can see, you saw a sneak peek in the intro. We will be uploading that whole video within the next couple of days. So guys, stay tuned for all the World Cup content. But if you enjoyed the other two host nations opening games, remember to leave a like, remember to subscribe, and remember to comment your thoughts down below, because I will reply to every single comment. But that's the end of the video, and stay tuned for the next one.